Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Today we will do the revision of electricity.
Okay, sir.
We done everything. Just each and every topic I will revise everything again. You just come with the next class with the doubts. Class is little extending also not a problem. Clear the doubts and do the worksheets what I am assigning. Actually, you are not done statistics, not completed,
Completed, sir.
but not uploaded.
Yeah, sir.
Upload it. Why? Once done, please upload it. Whenever
Okay,
you
sir.
look free.
I thought 25th only you have to upload because it was
No,
given
no.
20.
Once it's completed, you upload as early as possible. Like it's not like you want to till 25th you're having that time. That means you can upload within this time any.
Yeah,
You need to
okay,
wait
sir. I'll
till
do
the
it
end.
tonight.
You need to wait till end of the day.
Yeah,
Good
sir.
evening,
Okay.
sir.
Good evening, madam. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. What about you?
It's fine. Terminal exams is going on.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow is the last exam.
Hmm. What exam tomorrow, Ovia?
English, sir.
We'll wait for a few minutes and we'll see.
Okay,
So
sir.
far, no one joined. So just we'll wait for a few minutes.
Sir?
Yes, Hamsini.
Sir, in that human iron colorful world, you said Srisha ma'am will take about
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
human
already
iron.
discussed with sir. Sirisha ma'am will take. I will discuss with sir once. I will schedule. Might be this weekend. We will schedule one session with that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Okay.
See, we already discussed. Just I am going to revise. Is there any doubts? Please let me know. Like it's very simple. First, we started with electric charge and current. In this, we discussed what is a charge, definition of a charge, and types of charge. It's a negative charge and positive charge. In real practice, the positive charge means deficiency of electrons and negative charge means excess of electrons. Because in a conductor, proton is always fixed. It's a bounded. Only electrons will move freely in a conductor. But when it comes to electrolytes, both protons and electrons will move freely. So when it comes to some electrolytes, the responsible for conducting the electricity is both protons and electrons. But in case of conductors, it's only electrons. That's the reason if any object is positively charged, it means some electrons are is removed from the object. If any object is negatively charged, it means some electrons was added than the usual. So negative charge means it acquires like it added a gain in electrons. Gain in electrons. Positive charge means loss of electrons. So we can see the static electricity by doing a small experiment or small activity. Uh, if a glass rod is rubbed, a glass rod is rubbed with a silk cloth. It acquires positive charge. Suppose for negative charge, a ebonite rod is rubbed with fur cloth. So based on the type of material, you will get rubbed with fur cloth. It acquires negative charge. So based on the type of things, we can able to observe the concept of static electricity. The meaning of static electricity means there is no movement of charges. There is no flow of charges. So in static electricity concept, we can see only the attraction or repulsion of very lighter objects. Like dust particles or small paper pieces, lightweight. like these kind of things, you can able to see it will be attracted. So this excess or deficiency in charge is called charge acquired or charge acquired on a conductor or a surface. So the SI unit of charge is what, Ovia? The SI unit of charge. What is the SI unit of charge?
Coulomb.
Coulomb. What is a 1 electron charge? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. 1 coulomb contains how many electrons? For proton it is positive, for an electron it is negative, only sign is different. But the value of the charge on both the thing is same. In case of electrons, we will consider as minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. In case of proton, it is plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. This 1 coulomb contains how many electrons?
6.28 into 10 to the power 18 electrons.
This many of electrons. If you gather this many of electrons, then you can say 1 coulomb negative charge was there. If you gather this many of protons, you can say 1 coulomb positive charge is there. So this is the number of electrons will require to form 1 coulomb charge. So next one is quantumization of charge. Now quantumization of charge is not a valid topic. Quantumization of charges means they found initially the charge exists only integral multiple of means you can get 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron, 4 electron only. You won't get half electron, you won't get a 1.5 electron charge. Got it? It is a multiples of number of electrons only the charge will get. But later on, in recent days, they found the quantumization of charge. They found the half of the electron and 1/4 of the electron charge also they named as some names. So quantumization of charge is not actually available, but books they are saying quantumization of charge we are going to discuss. Quantumization of charge means the total charge acquired by a body is an integral multiple. Integral multiple means it's multiples of integers only. It's not any rational numbers. Magnitude of charge on a single electron. That means what they are trying to say is, based on some experiment, the least value of charge is for 1 electron, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. I can't form a charge of 1 electron charge plus some half electron charge. This is not possible according to this statement, but later on they found that also exists. They gave us some names also for that. Yeah, that we don't want. Inside the electron, what they are going to, like if you break the electron, what will be there inside? Certain things they found that we can discuss in +2. Now, electric current. If the charge is not flowing, any studies related to that, that is called static electricity. But if the charge is flowing in a conductor due to some external forces by giving some energy differences between the conductor, ends of the conductor, automatically charge will flow from one end to another end. So that that kind of concepts will comes under current electricity. Current electricity. The meaning of current wherever we are having in physics, generally it is a flow of something. Here flow of electrons. Current electricity. So when it comes to mechanics, if I want to move an electron is having some mass, some work done is required. There also some force is there, and automatically I can get some power. All these things can be related to mechanics here. How it will be related to mechanics, we will see later. First, we will just recapitulate the definition of electric current. Anyone? Ovia, can you give the definition of electric current?
Yes, sir. The rate of flow of electric charge through any cross section of a conductor in unit time is called electric charge.
Rate of flow of electric charge
Through any cross section of a conductor
through any cross section of conductor.
in unit time.
Unit time. That will be equal to electric current I is equal to charge flowing in t seconds, or number of electrons into charge of each electron by time. This is nothing but coulombs per second. It's called ampere. This is a SI unit of the electric current. So smaller currents can be called as milliamperes and microamperes. 1 milliampere comes under 10 power minus 3 amperes. 1 microamperes 10 power minus 6 ampere, or I can write as microamperes. Micro in the sense it's a 10 power minus 6. So this is how we can define the electric current. How much charge is flowing in a second is called electric current, and electric current is a scalar quantity. It doesn't have any direction. It is independent of direction. It's a scalar quantity. So the direction of the electric current, generally we will take the opposite to the flow of electrons only. We will consider as the electric current, opposite to the flow of electrons. Now, so what is the device will be useful to measure the electric current? Ammeter, that we will see later. There are different components which will be useful to do certain things. So that we will see in circuit diagram, and what are the symbols for different electrical components. Now, the next concept is electric potential. Niranjan, can you give any brief discussion about electric potential?
Electric potential, sir. So
The amount of work done
work
required
per unit charge is called electric potential.
correct. Work done required when a unit potential, when a unit or per unit charge, a unit positive charge, a unit positive charge is moved from infinity to a point in an electric field. So how much work is required per unit charge? Suppose there is a 10 amperes charge is there, 10 coulombs charge was there. I'm having 1 coulomb positive charge is there. I want to bring this 1 coulomb charge and I have to keep here. Because of the positive charge and positive charge, it will repel. So how much work I have to afford, how much effort I have to keep the charge here, that will says per unit charge how much work is required. That is called potential of at this point. Suppose if I want to bring here, you will have a different work done. If I want to bring here, you will have a different work done. So that work done per unit charge at that respective points is called potential at that locations. So mathematically, potential can be written as work done by how much charge you are bringing. So joules per coulomb, Generally, the unit is joules per coulomb. In electricity, we are calling as this is 1 volt. So based on this, I can define 1 volt. The meaning of 1 volt is if I want to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to a point in an electric field, if I require 1 joule current, 1 joule work done, if I spent 1 joule work done, then the potential at that point is called 1 volt. Suppose if I am bringing the charge here, it requires 2 joules per 1 coulomb. So the potential at this point is called 2 volts. So the meaning of 1 volt is if I spent 1 joule of work done to bring a charge of 1 coulomb from infinity to an electric field in an electric field, then the work done on the potential at that location is called 1 volt. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the definition of the voltage. Electrical potential definition is little different. When I am asking you to define the 1 volt means it is little different. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Suppose if I am asking the potential difference between the 2 points is 1 volt. Suppose there is a point A, point B. So potential at A is VA, potential at B is VB. That means from infinity, if I want to bring a volt charge to VB, B position, the potential required is VB. To A, the potential required is VA. The potential difference explains the difference between these two potential is called potential difference, that is called 1 volt. The meaning of 1 volt also I can explain in a different way. The electric potential difference between 2 points is said to be 1 volt. When I can say 1 volt, if I want to move 1 coulomb from B to A, I require 1 joule work. Then the potential difference between these 2 points is called 1 volt. So I can write like this also. With respect to 2 different electrical positions, the electric potential difference between two points is said to be one volt. If 1 joule of work done if 1 joule of work done in moving 1 coulomb of electric charge from one point to other point, then the potential difference between these 2 points is called 1 volt. So from here also 1 volt is equals VB minus VA by Q, that is 1 joule divided by 1 coulomb, that is called 1 volt. So here generally we are having larger units and smaller units, microvolts, millivolts or megavolts, gigavolts and kilovolts. Generally we'll use for our household circuits will be very huge voltage will for transferring from grids or from transferring from local power stations to houses we will use the high voltages. When it is in electronic equipment, it is very low voltages. So based on that, like our batteries is hardly 1.5 volt and 3 volts batteries, but when it comes to houses, 250 volts. When it is used for transmissions, it will be like 25 kVs, 120 kVs. So it depends. So voltage is very high level. Voltage values will be there in our real life, and very low values also will be there. So what is the device will be useful to measure the potential difference between two locations?
Voltmeter, sir.
Voltmeter.
Voltmeter. So voltmeter is a device which will be useful to find out the potential difference between 2 points in a circuit. So circuit means what? What is the meaning of electric circuit? Next point is
Closed
electric circuit.
path through which electric current flows.
Continuous.
Yes. How we can explain what is the meaning of an electric circuit means? First of all, it should be closed, correct?
Yes, sir.
A closed and continuous path which is having different kind of electric components with a source. Source will give the electric energy to circulate the charge throughout the circuit. There are so many electric components. A closed and continuous path through which electric current flows is known as electric circuit. Simple. A closed and continuous path through which electric current flows is known as electric circuit. Anyone can explain if it is open, what will happen?
Sir, there will be a break in the flow of charges.
Yes. So charge will not come back to its source. So there is a break means charge will not continuously flow. So generally, all kind of electric circuits generally contains load, switch, and source. These are the three important things should be there in an electric circuit to fulfill the switch. Is also not much mandatory. Load means like a resistance, like a bulb, or some like any alarm or something which is called load, which will consume the electricity. Switch is a device which will operate, which will like the circuit should be active to hold the charge flow, to control the flow of charge. Controlling the means whenever you want, you can make the circuit and flow with the electric current, or whenever you don't want, you can hold the electric flow of the current. Source is like which will supply the electrical charge throughout the circuit. So this is a generally batteries. If I'm taking a small circuit, whenever I want to draw to explain some electric circuit, we need some symbols. That symbols we already discussed. This is a symbol which explains a bulb symbol. This is ammeter. The symbol generally will explain that switch. Switch is having different symbols. A DC battery or DC power source. These are the conductors, and this is a voltmeter. Ammeter generally will be connected in series, and voltmeter will be connected in parallel, that we already discussed. So plus and negative. For battery compulsory, try to show terminals, positive terminal and negative terminal. Then only I can able to explain from where to where current is flowing. Suppose some other symbols for the switch. This is also some other symbol for the switch. This is called open switch. Switch is open. This is called closed switch. So these are the different symbols for the switch. Any symbol you can able to use. Suppose if I am mentioning this with this, if I want to use this symbol for open and close, how I can be? If the switch symbol is without a dot, it's a open. That is, it is in switch off position. With the dot, it is a closed. So this is a either this both represents switch only. Switch generally the terminology of the switch in the electric circuit is called key, electric key. So now like this we are having so many. Now we are going to discuss all the symbols line by line and what is the use. So I will give the symbol you have to explain what is its main purpose in the electric circuit. First one is an electric cell or a battery. Its symbol is, what is its purpose, Sandhya?
Source of energy, sir.
Combination of batteries. Same. If I am having more than one battery. Connecting wires. It's like a line. The line shows a conductor which is connecting the components in the electric circuits. An electric bulb. Any symbol you can use. Next one is a resistor. Resistor or resistance. Rheostat or variable resistance. Where you can change the value of the resistance of a resistor, or in some books they will use with this symbol. In higher level generally we will use this symbol. So this is, or these two frequently used symbols for the rheostat. Next one is ammeter. Voltmeter. Galvanometer. Switch or key. Open position, closed position. Both the things we will see here. This is in open position, or this is the symbols will be used for closed position. Yes, we have to make a contact of the terminals. That's it. Fuse. It's a safety device. This is a symbol for fuse. If two wires are joined, or three wires are joined like this, this is called a terminal. Or terminal will call the joining of two three wires is called terminal, or we can call as junction. Generally we'll use the junction. This is called junction. Three wires are connected at this point. If two wires are crossing, there is no connection but they are crossing in a circuit. If any circuit diagram they draw like this, that means these two wires are not attaching each other, just it is crossing over each other. So galvanometer generally useful to find the defects, presence, and direction of the currents in a circuit. Ammeter and voltmeter does not give the direction of the current, but galvanometer will be useful to find out the direction of the current. The in detail explanation of the galvanometer and its applications will be discussed in +2. So far, is it clear? This is the basic things related to the electricity. After that, we are moving to the Ohm's law. Shall I move to the Ohm's law?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
anyone can explain the Ohm's law? He's a scientist. He's explaining something about conductors. Which conductors obeys his law? Those conductors are called ohmic conductors. Not obeying, there are some conductors which does not obey. So anyone can explain Ohm's law?
Sir, may I?
Yes.
Sir, the electric current flowing through a circuit is directly proportional to the potential difference, which is applied across the ends of the conductor and where the temperature remains unchanged.
Instead of temperature, make a note. Temperature is enough for your level, but if it is a little bit advanced, answer is physical conditions remains unchanged. The
Okay,
physical
sir.
conditions remains unchanged, including in bracket you can mention temperature is main because he started with the temperature only. The electric current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference across the conductor. That is the terminal potential difference, where the physical conditions of the conductor should be constant. You should not increase the length while supplying the current. You should not decrease the current, or you should not increase or decrease the change in temperature. Physical conditions remains unchanged. So from here, I can write V is equals IR. To remove the proportional constant, I is multiplied with R, or I is equal to V by R. In this, R is a material property known as resistance of the material or resistance of the conductor, which can be explained elaboratively. Resistance is explaining by like which opposes the flow of electrons. That means which oppose the flow of electric current. This property of a material is called resistance. This resistance can be able to calculate it using the VI graph. If I'm drawing a VI graph for any conductor, if I'm getting the VI graph is a straight line, that means wherever if I'm taking the slope is always constant. The slope means what? Suppose if I'm taking a slope, the rate of change of voltage with respect to current, that is nothing but V by I only. V by I is nothing but resistance. If it is a straight line, we can say the resistance of the material is constant. Even if I increase the I value also, corresponding V will change. If I decrease the I, corresponding V will change. But the ratio of the V by I is always constant. That constant is called resistance of the material. But in some cases, some materials graph is coming like this, like diodes, transistors, some electrolytes. That means the resistance is changing in this graph. So the materials which is obeying the Ohm's law is called ohmic resistors. The resistance is constant. The materials which is not obeying the Ohm's law is called non-ohmic resistors. Generally, all kind of conductors are called ohmic resistors. Electrolytes and electronic devices, semiconductors are non-ohmic resistors. So in case of ohmic resistors, your resistance is fixed. But in case of non-ohmic resistors, at a particular value of I and V, you will get a resistance. For the same material, if I and V are changing, automatically that resistance is also changing. That's the reason we will call as dynamic resistance. For non-ohmic resistance, the resistance is not fixed. We'll call as a dynamic resistance. So the VI graph of a conductor will show the resistance. To know whether it is ohmic resistance or non-ohmic resistance, by drawing the graph, it will be easy to understand. If it is a straight line between V and I, it's called it's a ohmic resistance. Its resistance is fixed. If it is not, it's an non-ohmic resistance where we can consider as a dynamic resistance. Dynamic resistance means for a given particular value of V and I will get the resistance value. That means if I want to explain the concept of resistance, I have to draw VI graph. Suppose if I'm drawing the IV graph, what it will give? VI graph will explain the property of a material called resistance. IV graph explains conductance. It's like inverse of resistance. Resistance explains each and every material. Suppose if I'm taking copper, the copper, if I supply the 100 electrons, the copper will allow only few electrons to pass to till end. That means, 100 electrons will come here, but with what energy it is started here, some energy will be lost due to some opposition created inside the conductor. So this opposition is called resistance. But each and every material, as well as how much allowance, how much it will allow to pass, to circulate in the conductor is called conductance. So conductance can be explained by IV graph. These things we'll discuss in +2. So as of now, we are going to discuss only the resistance and specific resistance and factors affecting on the resistance. First, we will see the resistance according to the definition of the Ohm's law. What is the relation between IV and R? I is directly proportional to V. So from here, I can calculate the V is equal to IR, or I is equal to V by R. So I need R value. R is equal to V by I. That is nothing but 1 volt by 1 coulomb. 1 ampere. That means if there is a conductor AB, if I applied 1 volt current, if the conductor is allowing 1 ampere current, the resistance of the conductor is 1 ohm. The symbol for ohm is, this is the symbol for ohm. So 1 ohm is nothing but if any conductor is connected to a potential difference of 1 volt, if the conductor is, the current flowing in the conductor is 1 ampere, then the resistance of the conductor is called 1 ohm. So 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt per 1 ampere. Is it clear, guys? What is the definition of the ohm and what is the definition of the resistance?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Some just definitions. I think we already know. What is the meaning of resistance or resistor? Resistor is a just a fixed resistor. Variable resistor are called resistance box. These are things we can see in lab. Good conductor, poor conductor, and insulator. Resistance is a poor conductor. Good conductor, where low resistance material is called good conductors. High resistance material is called poor conductors. Insulators. What is the meaning of insulators?
Sir, it offers very high resistance to the
And
flow.
no electric flow. Correct? Generally, we'll call as very, very high resistance. Poor conductors having high resistance, but certain extent it will allow the current. Good conductors having low resistance. Now, factors affecting on the electric current. factors affecting on the electric current? What are the factors affecting, guys?
The
Length
area
of the
cross section of the conductor.
resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor. Resistance is inversely proportional to area of the cross section, and temperature also. The temperature increases, generally solids conductors resistance will increase. In case of electrolytes, it depends upon the material, it may increase or it may decrease. So that we will discuss in +2. Just as of now, we are not bothering about the temperature dependence, but in higher studies or in some other book, they will mention that temperature is also one factor. If there is a change in temperature, the resistance also will change. But when compared to length and area of cross section, the temperature will not affect that much. So from these two statements, I can write the resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor and inversely proportional to area of the conductor. So resistance is equal to remove this proportional constant. I'm using a symbol is called rho, where rho is called specific resistance are called resistivity, R into A by L. So rho is called specific resistance or resistivity, which will explain for a fixed material per unit length and per unit cross section area what is the resistance of the material is called specific resistance. It's a constant for the material, like a density of a material. Mass of the material will be different based on that how much material you are having, but the density of the material is fixed. Am I right? Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So resistivity also same way. Resistance of a conductor of unit length and unit cross section area is called resistivity, and its unit is ohm meter, or with a symbol I can use. So resistivity. The definition is the resistance of a material, any conductor or a material, per unit length and per unit cross section area, how much resistance it contains. That is called resistivity of that material. It is a constant. Even if I'm taking iron, it's a constant. But resistance will change. Resistance is depends upon how much length of the wire you are taking or how much thickness of the wire you are taking. But the resistivity is like a density. It's like a how much, whatever the length you are taking, resistance of iron is always fixed. Resistivity of iron is always fixed. Resistivity of copper is always fixed. If you know the resistivity, if you know the dimensions of a wire, you can able to calculate the total resistance of that wire. This is the use of the resistivity. Is it clear, guys? Based on this, we are having some numericals. After this, we are having resistance of a system of resistors. If I am connecting three resistors joined together, how many types of joints we are having? There are three ways I can join. What are the types of combinations I can see?
Series and parallel, sir.
Series
Combination.
and parallel.
Combination.
Series, parallel, and combination of both. Correct?
Sir.
The first one is if I'm talking about series. If I'm connecting a resistance end to end, then those type of connections are called series connections. In series connections, certain points you have to keep it in mind. The voltage drops, sum of all the voltage drops is equal to the potential applied across the circuit. And current flowing through all the resistance are same in series. I is equal to I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3. And if R1, R2, R3 are the three resistors of a circuit, the total circuit resistance will be equal to sum of the resistances. Here voltage is distributed across each load and current will be the same in each and every component of the series circuit. These are the main points you have to keep it in mind to calculate the effective resistance or to calculate certain parameter related to circuits also. These are the points you have to keep it in mind. Same as, can anybody explain the parameters related to parallel circuits? Is it clear, guys? I can move to the parallel circuits.
Yes, sir.
One second, guys. If all ends of resistors are connected to a common point, suppose if I'm taking 3 resistors, if all resistors are connected to a common point, then those kind of circuits are called parallel circuits. Here the current is distributed into branches because at one point we are having 3 branches, I1, I2, I3, but all the branches are connected to same terminal point. So the voltage in each and every case is constant here. So the voltage across each resistance is same. V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V3 is equal to how much voltage you applied. But the current flowing in the total circuit will be equal to sum of all the currents flowing in the resistors. And if each resistance is R1, R2, R3, the total resistance will be equal to 1 by R total, or the effective resistance of the circuit is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. This is how we can able to calculate the resistance in parallel. So far, is it clear? Any points need to be discussed so far?
Yes, sir.
Guys, let me know.
Clear, sir.
Anything need to be discussed so far? Are you clear? So parallel combination of both series and parallel, chances are very less for you people. In domestic house circuit, generally the circuit will be in parallel connections. What is the benefits of the parallel connections? Combination
Sir,
of,
if any one device stops working, other device will work, sir.
that is a major thing. Combination of series and parallel means like this. If few things are in series, see here you can get both parallel as well as series in a single circuit. See, R1, R2 are parallel and R3, R4 are series. Sorry, R1, R2 are in series. R3, R4 are series as a separate, and R5, R6 are parallel to R3 and R4. And again, it is connected series to R1 and R2. So what are the applications of parallel combinations? Suppose if I'm simple, I have to recollect to the household circuits here. If I connected one fridge, one AC here, and one electrical stove here, and I connected a mobile. So the fridge requires 240 volts. Here AC requires also 240 volts. The electric stove requires also 240 volts. So I need a power source of this much. The total V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4, this much of power I have to supply. Suppose whenever I don't want to use mobile or I'm not using the AC, automatically the circuit will break down. So it is not possible to use any device individually. And it is not so easy to supply how much power I want. Voltage keep on changing if it is in series. The requirement of voltages keep on changing. But if I've connected all are in parallel, fridge, AC, and electrical stove, and a mobile. Suppose if I am breaking this circuit, I connected all these things to 40 volts. Now, even when it is useful or when it is not using also, all are connected to 240 volts. Suppose if I am not using the fridge or if I am not using the AC by switching off here, automatically, simultaneously, even though if these two devices are not in use, whether it is using or not using, I can able to use the electrical stove and as well as my mobile charging. So this is the main use of the parallel circuits. So no need to break the circuit or no need to hold the entire circuit. That is the first condition. And second thing is enough voltage. Only one kind of voltage source is enough for parallel circuit. In case of series circuit, we keep on if any devices was switched off, your voltage requirement also is changing. So this is also second major constructional feature constraint when it is connected in series. So operating is also very tough, and as well as supplying the electric current also is very tough. So these are the 2 points you can highlight in what is the advantages in parallel circuits. That's the reason we are using in domestic electrical circuits. We'll use the parallel combinations. Any doubts?
No doubts.
No doubt, sir.
Sorry, guys. Any doubts so far? Shall I move to the concept of power, the last topic? Electric fuse and all you just study. If any doubt, you can let me know. Calculation of heat generated. How to calculate heat generated in a circuit? So amount of work done is, we can calculate by using the concept of voltage, how much charge you supplied into voltage. So we know already I is equal to Q by T. If I'm R, charge can be written as I into T, because in general real life, I know the value of the current, but I don't know how much charge I'm supplying. So from Ohm's law, I know V is equal to IR, or R is equal to V by I. So if I'm substituting all these values, the work done is equal to I into T into I into R. This will give I square RT. This is the heating effects of the current. To calculate the heat generated by an electric conductor, I square into resistance of the conductor into how much time you are using. This much of heat energy will release. Suppose if I'm using 1 hour, multiply with 3600 seconds. So this formula, this is known as Joule's law of heating. So from here only we are going to calculate. From here we can discuss. It is directly proportional to the square of the current and directly proportional to the resistance and directly proportional to the time. How much time you are using, more heat will release. If the resistance is more heat will release. If you are increasing the current, more heat will release. From here only we are going to discuss the power concept. The electrical power is nothing but rate of doing work or Rate of spending energy. So energy is nothing but heat. So work done is equal to electrical energy. Suppose if I'm taking W is equal to electrical energy, or suppose if I'm using a device by supplying the current I and of a resistance R, if I'm using T seconds, this much of heat will generate. Per second, how much heat will release? That is called electrical power. Power is equals VIT by T. So V into I or I square R or V square by R. So power concept is watts. The unit of power is watts. The unit of heat energy is joules. So this is a whole thing related to electricity. Series parallel circuits, concept of power, concept of heat, and concept of charge, and different symbols you are using in electrical circuits. So this is an overview. I'm just revising overview of the concept. You have to sit and practice the numericals, and you have to sit and practice some theories. Both having the same preferences in this topic. Is it clear, guys? Shall I wind up the topic? Shall I wind up the today's class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We'll meet in the next class. I will upload a paper. I will upload an assignment of 20 questions, including numericals and everything. You just submit by Sunday. Please stay on 1 second. I am taking the attendance. After that, you can leave. Just please stay on 1 second. Vijita also today absent. Shivani also absent. Yeah, we'll meet in next class, man. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Any doubts, please let me know in next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.